Good morning, students. Now we can go through the sources of bias in a cohort study. Bias is a systematic error in a study that may lead to incorrect conclusions. In a cohort study, bias can occur at different stages. During selection of exposed individuals, when we select people in the exposure cohort, there may be some selection bias. During selection of non-exposed individuals, when we select people in the non-exposure cohort or control cohort, there may be selection bias. During follow-up, we are collecting information on exposure and on outcome. There may be information bias. During measurement of exposure, there may be information bias. During measurement of outcome, there may be information bias. Loss to follow-up can occur because we are following up for a long period of time. There may be loss to follow-up. That is known as attrition bias. Selection bias. A major source of potential bias in cohort studies arises from the degree of accuracy with which participants have been classified with respect to their exposure or disease status. We are selecting people to exposure cohort based on their exposure status, right? We are selecting people to control cohort based on their non-exposure to the risk factor. Okay, so we are calculating outcome like a relative risk based on the disease status in the exposed group and the non-exposed group. Okay. Differential misclassification can lead to an over or underestimate of the effect between exposure and outcome groups. Losses to follow-up bias or attrition bias. Cohort members may die, migrate, change jobs, or refuse to continue to participate in this study during the follow-up period. In addition, losses to follow-up may be related to exposure, outcome, or both. They may get some symptoms because of exposure to cigarette smoke, so they may stop the exposure. They may develop some outcome or disease, then they stop exposure there. Okay, then they uh, move away from the research. Okay, they refuse to participate in the research. For example, individuals who develop the outcome may be less likely to continue to participate in this study. Even with the best effort, loss to follow-up occur due to death, change of residence, change of behavior, change of job, or migration. Losses during follow-up is known as attrition. So this type of bias is known as attrition bias. Loss of more than 10% will reduce the validity of the study, though attrition is unavoidable. Lost persons can be traced through letters from their relatives and friends. Then we can get information about them. Attrition should be restricted to minimum possible extent as less than 10%. Potential sources of bias in cohort studies. Information bias. Bias due to differences in identification of disease in exposed and non-exposed groups. We should use the same method for identification of disease among exposed individuals and non-exposed individuals. Otherwise, there may be differences and it can cause information bias. It can be minimized by ensuring that a high level of follow-up is maintained among all study groups. Thank you.